So yes, primarily a poet. I had this idea rolling around in my head about a woman with a schizoaffective disorder in the early 90s who comes up with a technology capable of GPS, what we know now, but back then they didn't have the words. But as she's working on this tech, she's also suffering from her mental illness. And that came about because I was reading a book called The Diary of Vaslav Nijinsky, who is a very famous ballet dancer, and he was suffering from schizophrenia, and it made him unable to dance ever again, so the world lost that talent. So I wanted to kind of put his story out into the world, but in a little bit closer to our generation. I might be dating myself a little bit, but I remember the time before the internet and now. And so that's how Charlie Forever and Ever was born. So I'm going to read a little bit, but I also do have some poetry for you. Normally I write erotica, but this is a departure from that as well. So if you are on social media, I do post all the time. I'm a junkie, I'm addicted. I have a lot of problems. That is one of them. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that's at Pandora Demise. Thank you. So I chose a part that's a little bit more relevant to what is going on in the world right now. And if you know anything about GPS technology, we can be found anywhere all over the world, and they use that technology now to in military industrial complex. But I'm just kidding, sorry. Okay. They do not know my name, yet they will curse me all the same. I am the instrument of their suffering. I am bringing with me a wave of solar-powered death machines who find their targets with the swift surety of an owl finding its prey in the moonlight. My mother was right. I invited death into our home. I am death. I was born to die, born to wreak havoc on those around me until they cannot bear themselves anymore. We will each of us knowingly and unknowingly sign up to give our internal lives to these devices, writing poetry and songs on digital notepads, sending photographs of ourselves to naked strangers who will ejaculate on camera for money and for free. We will find murderers and give ourselves to killers. We will become things we swore we never would. We will give in to every temptation and curse God for the abundance of eyes that search us out, that we seek approval from. My secret life is no longer a secret. My wishes will be bought and paid for. Cultures will change rapidly, each of us consuming the other, sliding into the lands and languages of others so easily. You will become me, and I will mold myself to your image, and we will hate ourselves even more while we sell every article of clothing to the people who watch our stories play out. The blue veins of my mother's eyelids traced the abandonment across her eyes, the sleep, the paralyzed, the smog of her mind. The veins tangled themselves around the battered heart still beating, though everything she had ever known and loved had been robbed from her. She watched my story play out, my holy future ripped from my navel by a homicidal bitch who looked just like me. She watched the water fill the tub, the spiritual waters that funneled through the spout and drenched her feet in prophecy. She wrote to me over and over, begging me not to drink water. She pushed dirt into my mouth, rubbed dirt into my hair, pulled me from the bedroom. I fought her vainly, broke a nail as I tried to pull myself from her grasp as she dragged me through the darkened Houston home, left a trail of blood across the dirty carpet. Only a neighbor, hearing my screams from his home, saved me from the strangling she had surely intended for me, through no fault of her own. Her mind had been lost somewhere between my birth and the visions of my death, the illness of my father and his sudden departure from our lives through shotgun blast, his body hidden in an abandoned mine. The technology I create will be usurped by warmongers and faithless sons of dogs. This is from a collection I published during the height of the pandemic. It's called Medusa. It's I took the myth of Medusa and gave her back her voice. You might know, Medusa, snake-haired woman, everyone's afraid of her, but what they didn't know was that Medusa was the victim of a sexual assault and victim shamed, and the snakes were actually a punishment for that. So I wanted to give her her voice back, and I wrote this entire collection, but I'm only going to read one of them. So it's called Severed Kingdom. Chorus. Battle lines were drawn in white paint across a blacktop as white chalk on a blackboard. The floor trembled beneath the basketball courts and under the tires of the used cars and a dirty lot near the 10 freeway, Pomona Town, Medusa. All the members of a drugged-up parliament pound their ghost white fists against their missing upper lips. The gods had spoken. Let me remove this meaning from the memory, take the bus token and get away across town to the empty caves where cherry-lipped women dressed in knives roam corridors with the heads of their enemies draped across their doors. And someone's startled gasp pierces the night as their masculinity is severed from its throne of pubic hair and lice. Watch as their bones quickly calcify and turn the men to stone. Watch as the Epsteins and the R. Kellys of the world and the presidents and their men grab your ass and spit on you in the street, in dark bars, and on live TV, curdle into monuments of disease. All the lovers I ever knew bleed down from the sky like spent fireworks. They shatter as they hit the floor. A million shards of glorious marble shine beneath the screams of the sun as though it were waves of ocean gently lulling babes to sleep. Even you, my love, even you. No one is to be spared. Okay, I'm going to read one more. This one is called Guadalupe. It was published in a anthology of mothers, and I had the idea for Guadalupe because I kind of felt like there was going to be like a lot of like white women, witchy vibes, and like amethyst, and like all that stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool, but that's like I want something more. I need that darkness. And so I thought about our Aztec gods, and Guadalupe is the goddess of war, but she's also a mother. So, and at the time that I wrote this, there was a lot of, there still is, but there was a lot of cases where women were being attacked on their way home from work, and a lot of women, they don't make it home. And so this is dedicated to the women that don't make it home. Guadalupe. I don't want to be the pretty girl out alone. My keys clenched through my fists to protect myself from you. I want to be Guadalupe, a woman whose scarred breasts hang low, flayed serpent face split in two, at war with each other, giving birth to the cosmos under skirts of glittering snakes. Around my waist sits a belt of withered hands, for I am mother, see also goddess of war. My blood will be spilt, and from it rises the night sky pinpricked with a billion spores of light. My daughter's head becomes the moon. I don't want to be a victim, your victim, the body you follow through the alleys. I want my face to be the kind that startles a gasp from your center, my grin to be one that your psyche cannot bear. There is fear in your heart. I can taste it. My knife begs to seek out the worst in you.